Hey everyone, we wanted to create a quick video to show you how to integrate your own custom weapon systems with DestroyIt. So there's one out here called Sci-Fi Effects. It's a really cool asset, and it has a lot of special weapon effects, laser beams, and things like that. The only thing is, these objects that it's shooting are not destructible. So the question was how to make these objects destructible and have these weapons actually cause damage and destroy them. So we're going to integrate DestroyIt destruction system with the Sci-Fi Effects pack so we can get objects that are destroyed when they're hit by the weapons. So let's get started. So here I've imported DestroyIt and the Sci-Fi Effects pack, and I've opened up the turret demo scene. And the first thing I'm going to do is go up here and say minimal setup for DestroyIt. And what that's going to do is it's going to put a game object here with all the DestroyIt scripts on it, and then I'm just going to delete this input test because we don't need it. The next thing we need to do is all of the items in our scene that we want to make destructible, I'm just going to add the Destructible script to them. So under DestroyIt, scripts, behaviors, there it is. And I'm just going to drag this onto all of our spheres and all of our crates. Now that that's done, we'll just test the scene out real quick. And these items are destructible now, so they'll take falling damage and collision damage from each other and things like that. But they're not going to take any damage from the weapons themselves. So we need to go in and fix that. So I'm going to open up the code and look for places where the weapons are applying force to objects. And that's where I'm going to add some additional DestroyIt code to check and see if it's a destructible object, and if it is, I'm going to apply damage to that destructible object. Okay, so over here in the code, I'm going into the Sci-Fi Effects code, and here we see all of these weapons, like the beam, the projectile, etc. So I'm going to start with the beam, and I'm looking for where it says apply force. Okay, so it's applying force, and that's what's knocking the objects around. So I'm just going to add some code here. For my destructible object, I'm just going to test this hit point. That's my hit object. And I'm going to see if it has any destructible objects on it, destructible scripts. In any of its parents. So that means it's a destructible object. And if it is, then I'm going to apply some damage. And how much I apply is up to me. It's going to be dependent on the weapon. This is a beam weapon, so I'm just going to say one point of damage because it applies damage over time. And we'll see how that works. I'm going to rotate to the plasma beam. Alright, so you can see that the objects are taking damage from the beam. Cool, so now we just need to do the same thing with the other weapons. So I'll just copy this code. Go into projectile, and this should handle it for all of our projectile weapons. Oh, there it is. And on this one, I'm going to want to put a little bit more damage on it, maybe 10 per hit. So this is an actual projectile hitting the destructible objects. And now we should be able to test the Vulcan cannon. And the sniper actually has its own code, so we'll have to go and change that. The shotgun has its own. I believe the seeker is also a projectile. And I'm going to do the shotgun. It's a little different because it just adds its force differently, because each pellet, it's looking for every pellet and applying force for the pellets. So I'm just going to put the same code in here, just slightly tweaked. So for each one of the pellets, I'll do maybe 3 points of damage. Switch back to our game. Switch to the shotgun. And that's pretty nice. So hopefully this video helped show you how to integrate your own custom weapons with DestroyIt. In any situation where you're trying to do this, it's basically 2 steps. The first one will be to put the destructible script on any of your destructible objects, any object that you want to be destroyed. And then the second part of it is looking at your weapon and finding out where to put this piece of code that does the damage to the destructible object. And always, you want to check to see if it has hit a destructible object. And almost any weapon is going to have some piece of code like this, so that it can apply force, or it can apply maybe a decal like a bullet hole or something like that. And that's where you're going to hook into DestroyIt, and do an additional check to see, did I hit a destructible object? If I did, I'm going to apply a little bit of damage here. And then that'll be depending on, either force, like if it's a weapon that hit with a lot of force, maybe you'd want to actually apply the force as damage to the object. So if you barely grazed it, it would do just a little bit of damage. And if you hit it with a lot of force, it would destroy it immediately. Thanks for your interest in DestroyIt, and as always, let us know if there's anything we can do to help.